Colleen Stan was just 20 years old when she set off on what should have been a routine trip. A free spirit with a heart full of adventure, she loved hitchhiking across California. It was May 19, 1977, when Colleen thumbed a ride from Eugene, Oregon to a friend's birthday party in Northern California. Little did she know, this would be a journey into a living nightmare. Colleen had already turned down 2 rides when a blue van pulled up. Inside were Cameron Hooker, his wife Janice, and their infant child. The presence of a family made Colleen feel safe, so she accepted the ride. At first, everything seemed fine, but after a short stop at a gas station, the atmosphere in the van changed dramatically. Cameron, a 23-year-old lumber mill worker with dark fantasies, pulled off the road. What happened next would be etched into Colleen's memory forever. Cameron forced a box over her head, rendering her sightless, voiceless, and defenseless. This was no ordinary box. It was a homemade head cage designed to muffle her screams and disorient her. The Hookers took Colleen to their home in Red Bluff, California. Here, she was introduced to the horrors of Cameron's sadistic plans. He dragged her to the basement, stripped her, and chained her to the ceiling. For the next 7 years, Colleen was kept in a coffin-like box under the Hooker's waterbed for up to 23 hours a day. She was only let out to be tortured, raped, or forced to perform household chores. Cameron was a master manipulator. He used a combination of psychological and physical abuse to break Colleen's will. He convinced her that an all-powerful organization called The Company was watching her every move and would harm her and her family if she tried to escape. This fabricated organization was key to Cameron's control over Colleen. She truly believed that even thinking about escape would bring dire consequences.
The psychological torment was relentless. Cameron forced Colleen to sign a slave contract,
making her believe she was his property. The Hookers went as far as to introduce her to their neighbors and family members under the guise of a live-in maid. The reality was far more sinister. Janice, Cameron's wife, was complicit, but also a victim of his manipulative ways. She had endured years of abuse and saw Colleen as a way to divert Cameron's attention from her. The twisted dynamics of their relationship created an environment where Janice would alternate between helping and tormenting Colleen. Years went by with Colleen living in unimaginable conditions. Her life was a cycle of darkness and fear, punctuated by brief moments of daylight when she was let out to be used or humiliated. The once adventurous young woman was now a ghost of her former self, living only to survive each passing day. But then, something changed. Janice, who had long been under Cameron's control, began to see things differently. Guilt and a desire for freedom started to eat away at her. In 1984, 7 years after Colleen was first abducted, Janice found the strength to tell Colleen the truth about the company. It didn't exist. It was all a cruel lie concocted by Cameron to keep her under his control. Armed with this knowledge, Colleen decided to take a leap of faith. She convinced Cameron to let her visit her family. Remarkably, he agreed, confident in his control over her. During this visit, Colleen didn't tell her family what had been happening. The fear of the company was still too strong. She returned to the Hookers' home, but the seeds of escape had been planted. The breakthrough came when Janice finally went to the police. She detailed the horrific abuse and the reality of Colleen's captivity. In a move that shocked everyone, Janice agreed to testify against Cameron in exchange for immunity. The authorities raided the Hookers' home and found the coffin-like box and other evidence of Cameron's sadistic activities. Cameron Hooker was arrested and charged with multiple counts, including kidnapping, rape, and torture. During the trial, the full extent of Colleen's ordeal came to light. The jurors were horrified by the details of her 7-year imprisonment. Colleen bravely took the stand and recounted her harrowing experience. In 1985, Cameron Hooker was found guilty and sentenced to 104 years in prison. Janice, having testified against him, was granted immunity and walked free, though the moral and psychological consequences of her actions would haunt her forever. Colleen Stan's story is one of unimaginable suffering, but also incredible resilience. After her rescue, she faced a long road to recovery. She had to rebuild her life from the ground up, dealing with the trauma and finding a way to move forward. Despite everything, Colleen found the strength to share her story. raising awareness about the horrors of captivity and the strength of the human spirit. Her case became a part of popular culture, inspiring books, documentaries, and even episodes of TV shows. Colleen's ordeal, known as the girl in the box, serves as a chilling reminder of the depths of human depravity, but also the unbreakable will to survive.